You just got to go more through the fire, you know, to really actually like get it. Sad to say that I had to get a life sentence for me to really want to change and see the true value in myself. And I got life and I went upstate and it was just a whole different feel. You hear about Walpole, you feel the energy when you walk in, you know, it's real. So, you know, part of me was a little nervous because you didn't know what to expect, the uncertainty. But then when you get up there, you get a
You got a moment when they see you down, just know they love it all.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. Special guest with me today. Tell the people your name, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Demetrius, better known as Demet, from Boston, Roxbury raised, Walnut Park to be exact. You know, I'm all about the bounce back, so I just wanted to share the bounce back. But before I share the bounce back, I want to give people the details of my life, just growing up in the inner city, you know, growing up amongst poverty. People failed to meet the bare necessities, growing up in a drug-infested neighborhood, growing up with a bunch of violence, you know. That's where I come from.
Your bounce back story, from what you told me, is pretty amazing. You had some serious stuff going on. At one point, why don't you tell the people how long you were sentenced to prison before?
I had a life sentence. I was sentenced to life at, I want to say 20, went in at 19, you know, went through the whole process, went to trial, blue trial, went back, went upstate at like 19 and a half, 20.
Okay. So why don't you just talk a little bit about what you got going on for your life right now?
My life is amazing right now, you know, to say the least. I'm married. I want to speak about that first and foremost, you know. That's the hierarchy of my life.
Absolutely.
Marriage, real love. I just had a newborn, you know, so I got to be able a second chance.
Congrats.
To be there for my kid, to wake up every day to my lovely daughter. I got investments going on, you know, I day trade for a living. I'm trying to teach the youth financial literacy. I own property in Atlanta, Georgia. I just started a trucking company. So these are the endeavors I got going on right now.
What is day trading for someone who might not know?
Day trading is when you essentially buy a stock and you sell it in the same day. Buy and sell it in the same day.
Okay.
So that's what I do. Monitor, look at charts, look at the technical analysis, you know, understand the price action, understand how the stock actually moves. Then you move off of that, off the price action.
Rewind it now. The home dynamic growing up. Did you have both parents, siblings? Just explain that to me.
It's 6 of us all together, but in the household, it was just me and my twin. You know, my mother was going through her complications of life, you know, trying to figure it out. And as a result of that, my siblings was uprooted and they lived with my grandmother. So in the household, it was just me, my brother, and my mother. My father was there when he could be there, you know, but every day, my mother was there. So to answer your question, I grew up in a single parent home. So, you know, it's hard for a woman to try to raise a boy.
Absolutely.
Then additional to that, my mother got sick when I was like 10 years old. She had a stroke and an aneurysm. So she almost died. So it was a struggle within that, you know, to just try to raise us up, especially growing up where we grew up at. It was rough, it was tough.
Yeah.
So, you know, we tried to figure it out on our own, you know, and got misguided.
Yeah, that's a scary thing for a stroke to happen, aneurysms, all that, man.
Yeah.
And it's I'm sure it affected things at home
Yeah, it did.
when that went down. And just so kind of talk, I've had a couple people from Roxbury up here, but why don't you kind of talk a little bit about what Roxbury was like growing up in your era?
Roxbury was rough, you know. Roxbury was tough. It was tough growing up, you know what I'm saying? It's like, even if you didn't want to be that, you had to be that, you know what I'm saying? Because you had to protect yourself.
Yeah.
That's, you know, coming outside every day, you know, seeing dudes. Soon as you jump off the stoop, a whole crowd of dudes, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, in a sense, you had to get down and lay down.
Yeah.
Because if you was better than them, you was kind of alienating them, just growing up. And that's probably, they didn't think that, you know, but that's how we grew up. It's like, how dare him think he's better than me? How dare him think he got better shoes than me, you know?
Yeah.
So some dudes pretended and some dudes just fell in line of what was going on in the day-to-day activity of the hood, you know?
Absolutely.
Me growing up, I seen a lot of drug transactions, you know? And that's what I cling to. Like, when I grew up at Walnut Park, we was motivated by selling drugs, getting money. That's what I seen, you know? And that's just what I gravitated to, you know? That's the everyday living. So if you was to tell me something different, let's be a doctor, let's be that, I didn't see that growing up. This is what I seen.
Was it like a normal thing or a thing at all in family to have like maybe uncles getting locked up, cousins, any of your siblings? Or were you the first one of the family to kind of have to go through that?
Nah, I currently got a brother right now that's doing a life sentence, you know what I'm saying?
Me too.
I got a brother that's doing a life sentence. I think I know your brother, because I see you post him a lot.
Jojo,
I know Jojo. I grew up with Jojo and DYS and all that, you know?
Yep.
So I know him, you know? He's a good
A lot
dude.
of the same faces,
Yeah, all my brothers been locked up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was one time I was sitting in the cell and I thought about it. I said, damn. And I'm talking about just me and my immediate brothers and cousins and uncles. I'm like, damn, we got 100 and something years in jail. And it made me feel like I gotta change. I gotta change the whole narrative of our lives. I gotta be the difference maker, you know what I'm saying? And this is what I'm doing now, being a difference maker. You know, I had to change my thought process. So
Why did you feel like it had to be you?
Because growing up, I was always something different. People told me that, but I didn't believe it. You know, and when I went in at an early age, you know, I sat with myself, a lot of self-reflecting, you know what I'm saying? And really get to understand myself, being in awe of myself. And I realized I am different. I could do it. And what kind of helped me and shaped my thought process is just educating myself, reading a lot. You know, reading was like it was a passport for me to get out, temporary get out, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And as I read and educated myself and started to read certain things and see people's mind frames, my mind frame began to change. I was beginning to change the whole paradigm, you know? And that me learning, I self-taught myself how to do stocks, you know? Wow. I started when I was locked up, and I just transitioned that knowledge out there in the real world. But what that did for me was give me confidence and let me know that anything you put your mind to, you can do. And I just kept on you know, and just continue to do the things that I love.
How were you as a student growing up? Did you go to school? Did you skip a lot? Did you get in trouble at school?
I skipped a lot. I skipped a lot. And the reason I skipped a lot because, and it was hard for me to say this when I was younger, but I can admit I'm not ashamed. I used to have a reading disability. So I was one of the kids, they call on me, I'm going outside. So it was like, I wanted to change it and like be the class clown, do other things to try to take the light off of that, you know? But as I got older and just with my mother, once I felt like I had more control, that's when I stopped going to school, you know? Because I was shy for my certain learning abilities, you know? So to answer your question, I didn't really take school serious.
And did you feel like being on the streets, you were better
at that
than school?
Yes.
So you gravitated towards that?
Yeah. I gravitated to what was easy to me, what was just came natural to me.
Okay. So talk about what age is the first time you start getting locked up?
Oh, like 10. My first case when I was like 10 years old.
10 years old.
Yeah, still in a bike.
Okay. And then eventually you lead to what? You get committed to DYS?
Committed to DYS. I got committed to DYS when I was 13 for a stabbing. After that, it's just, the crime started to escalate. It got more serious, drugs, guns. Then my demise, what they thought was my demise, a life sentence at 18.
So talk about that first time in DYS and being away from your family and being locked up, and why you don't think that stopped you.
When you go in there, it's like a family reunion. Same people that you went to school with, they in there with you. Same people in your neighborhood you grew up with, they in there with you. So you didn't feel out of place because you was able to gravitate to something that you knew, you know? And I don't think it was enough time. And also, I feel like everybody learns at their own stage of life, you know? Like, some people can go in jail the first time and realize and get it right then and there. Some people, you just gotta go more through the fire, you know, to really actually, like, get it. And it's sad to say that I had to get a life sentence for me to really want to change and see the true value in myself.
And lucky enough to be able to get out and have the opportunity to bounce back and change. Because a lot of people, as we know, don't get that opportunity. That life sentence, was that your first adult case?
That was my second adult case. I ended up getting locked up for a shooting. And I was locked up for like 4 months I built out, but I got it dismissed like 5 months. They didn't really have improbable cause, whatever the case may be. I beat it on an emotion. So, you know, when you young, you doing this, you doing whatever you doing, you feeling invincible. You feeling like I got it. I know what I'm doing. I got it. You know, and that should have shook me up and realized like, dog, this ain't the way to go, you know? Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Then my second case was that case that sat me down for 15 years.
That first time, what was that experience like now in adult jail?
Yeah, same faces, man. You know, everybody graduated from DYS to National Street. It was same faces, same revolving faces, going in and out. So it didn't really hit me there. It hit me semi when I got life and I went upstate, and it was just a whole different feel.
Damn.
Like you hear experience, you hear about Walpole. You feel the energy when you walk in, you know? So I'm like, oh yeah, this shit's real. So, you know, part of me was a little nervous because you didn't know what to expect, the uncertainty. But then when you get up there, you get accustomed, you start seeing the same people. But I think my defining moment is when I was like 25. At that time, I probably had like 6 or 7 years, and I started to see shit for what it was. Dudes ain't really really who they say they is. The shit's fake, you know what I'm saying? So it's everybody following the status quo, you know what I'm saying? People ain't really standing on business. You know what I'm saying? We saying we real, we got all this time, but as soon as you get to the medium, you sitting at the same table that killed your man. So when I start to see certain things, I'm like, nah, this ain't where it's at. Then I was like, damn, you talking about you want to go home, but you're not doing nothing to show that that's what you really want. You say it, but your actions not aligned with it. So right then and there, I kind of de-associated myself to people I used to mess with, started reading, and just got with people that was on the same path that I was headed on.
I just want to talk about like your mindset waiting trial, right? Did you realize the seriousness of the crime while you're waiting trial, and like I'm really looking at life? What was your confidence level like going into trial? Just talk a little bit about that.
Oh, I kind of played with it, man. Like I kind of played with my life, and the reason why, as crazy as this sound, I had a beatable case from the start, you know? I had a co-defendant, he actually beat it. He had 2 mess trials, then he beat it the third time. You know, God gave him that grace. He wanted to work a little longer with me. But to say the least, I didn't take it serious. I thought I was gonna beat it. Had a lawyer, paid lawyer, telling me this, putting this in my ear, building my confidence up, but it didn't go that way.
I never been to a trial as an adult, only as a juvenile, so just kind of explain that feeling to me.
When your life's on the line and you got your life in the jury's hands, and you know, and they deciding your fate, that shit got real. That shit got real. Then it got more realer, and I cried. I can recall, I got sentenced on a Friday. They brought me for a state of execution to Nash for a weekend to get all my stuff, whatever. Then that Monday when I was about to get on that bus to get sentenced, I cried. I'm like, this shit's real.
And when you go back to Nash, do they put you in the hole or something like that? Because you just got
Now they was going to do, yeah, they was going to do that, but they knew me and they was like, I trust and believe he's not going to do nothing stupid, whatever the case may be. So they kept me on the unit.
Was that a long weekend? Was it kind of like, you'd rather just went up that Friday or?
And I was kind of glad they did that because I was able to see certain people and all that.
Goodbyes,
yeah, say my goodbyes.
Walpole, is that where you go that next Monday?
Yeah, for intake.
So talk about that.
They was shutting down classification in Concord, and they was moving Walpole dudes to Shirley Max. So I was just transitioning in at that time. So this is '09. So I goes in there, you know, nervous, scared, due to the uncertainties. But I get on the unit with a couple of dudes that just got sentenced a month or two prior to me. So I happen to get on the units, you know, people putting me on game, what's that, how, you know, how the prison system's operated, because it's operated on a different frequency.
Yeah.
So dudes are just putting me on what's what, how, you know, how we move. And, you know, I ain't just it, but I said to myself, it's time to fight. And I recall dudes gave me the commissary list. This is what we order, this and that. I said, I'm gonna order some hygiene in this, but I'm gonna give me some booker stamps. And I wrote every lawyer known to man, you know what I'm saying? Told on my case. I'm like, I got a good case, you know, I'm wrongfully convicted, et cetera, et cetera. And it so happened, I ended up getting a lawyer that I actually wanted, which is Robert Shaw. Give him a big shout out, man. Boy's a monster, you know? And he ended up taking my case. I ended up writing him when I was there, but I was focused on to save my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I'm not just laying down. I'm not laying down. I couldn't accept that.
And that was a natural life
Like, no,
sentence?
yeah, natural life sentence. I just couldn't accept that shit.
Yeah.
I was numb to it, but
that's
obviously,
what I was
yeah, I
gonna
was numb. Yeah, I was very numb to it. I couldn't believe. I was in disbelief because I hyped myself up to believe that I was gonna get out. And what's so funny, my wife that's sitting, beside me, when they locked me up, because they locked me up initially for a warrant on a false pretense to knowing they was coming a month or two later to charge me. She was right there.
Okay. So talk about that. They raid your house.
They raided
you
my
had
house.
Knock on the door. Just talk about that day.
They raided my house. They came to my house. They knocked on the door because they had a body warrant, so they had to see me actually in there. So they knocked on the door, see me in there. He's in there. Something was suspect. I'm like, they talking when they came to fix the oil. So be like, hold on, something suspect. Man. This is something, So happened, I goes to the window. They swarm, the SWAT teams. They 100 deep coming down. I said, I already knew. So they come to get me. I surrender, Said, what are y'all here for? They was like, probation, this and that. They talked to her, was like, give him a kiss, because this is the last kiss you gonna give him.
Wow.
She was dead. She hold her down.
That's scary though.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Especially being at the age that I was, 18.
Yeah.
So
you get up to Walpole. You got a natural life sentence. Are you there long? You see
I
classification?
was there for 90 days.
90 days?
Yeah, 90 days.
And then what's the next stop from there?
Classification, I went to Shirley Medium.
Shirley
Max.
Shirley Max. Susan Baranowski.
Yep, Susan Baranowski.
You get up there, what's that like?
Oh, it was rough.
Yeah.
Especially the time I went up there, The time I went up there was real rough. Older dudes was up there. They had the jail. It was serious, A lot of knife action, I was up there. I didn't see the police get stabbed, almost get killed on my block.
Wow.
Like I was there for that. I didn't see a lot of dudes get stabbed up. Dudes get thrown off the tier. So that the shit was rough, It was like you had to really stand on business.
Right. And you sitting there fighting for your life.
Fighting for my life, yeah.
Literally, but for your freedom. But then it's like, do you ever think like, man, it's just real here. I might not make it out even if I do get an appeal or another chance.
Of course I thought that. Because
So
the
what's
niggas
that
is
like
playing for
such a young
keeps.
man?
It's like you gotta reconcile with the truth of where you at,
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta be blicked up. You gotta be aware of your surroundings, because it could get like that. You gotta understand, a lot of people is not coming home.
Yeah.
They feel like they don't have nothing to lose. Some people don't have family. They can't get on the phone. They ain't got commissary.
Yeah.
So it's like when you surrounding somebody and rubbing your shoulders with people that ain't had nothing to lose, you gotta take this shit serious.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest adjustment comparing like Sousa Baranowski to county?
The lockdown time, like far as when something happened upstate, it goes down for real. Cause it's a different respect level. So if you violate somebody's respect, and he's gonna go all the way with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it was a real reason. People is not just gonna just play for some small shit, because they understand the time that they got and all that. And they're not trying to make their time worse. So if you put them in that situation and make their time worse, they're gonna go all the way with you. Yeah. So to answer your question, I think it was a respect level. It was more structure upstate.
And you said you started writing these lawyers right off the rip. You were not laying down, you weren't just taking that life sentence. Why was it important to kind of have that positive attitude, or at least some sort of hope looking forward?
Because it gave me purpose. It gave me meaning. If I would have just sat down and succumbed to what they were saying, what is the reason to wake up for?
Yeah.
So I knew that I needed to put purpose in my life and understand that I was bigger than what they said.
Gotcha.
And I was blessed to have a good lawyer. And I fought myself, and I just did, not immediately going up, I ain't do shit different. I surrounded myself by dumb shit. But as I got older and matured and see things different, then my actions, my movement changed. But I knew I wasn't just settling for that.
How long were you in Shirley Max?
6 years.
6 years? Okay. And then where's your next stop from there?
I went to Gardner after that.
to
I
Gardner.
transitioned to Gardner.
Okay.
I was there for like 4 years. Then I overturned my case. Went back to National Street to fight my case. Was down there for like 2 years. Then they gave me 15 in a day. And I went upstate for like 18 months to finish the remainder of my time.
At what point do you start to hear back from lawyers and realize that you might have another chance?
Like the 10th year mark.
10 years in.
Yeah, like it's hard. Yeah, 10 years of uncertainty. Then I started to see a little bit of light. I started going to court. But when I got upstate in 2009, I didn't go back to court till like 2015.
Did you get denied appeals?
Yeah, I got not denied. I got denied my motion for a new trial. They denied me and I appealed it. They shot it down. Then I went for my direct appeal, which is your main appeal, and I won that one.
So when you get shot down that first time, what's your mindset like? It's just, did you kind of know you were going to get shot down that first time and knew it was going to have to be on the direct appeal, or was it still discouraging?
Nah, I kind of knew I was going to get shot down on that because that was more of a strategy move anyway, I just needed to put things on the record.
Yep.
So by that getting shot down to me, even entertaining that hearing, I was able to use certain things in that emotion to put on my direct appeal.
Okay, so then you get the direct appeal. That motion gets filed. How long until you hear something that you get a chance to go back into court?
90 days.
90 days after you filed. Okay.
Boy, that was a stressful 90 days.
So talk about it. What's going through your mind? Is it like, man, if I don't get this one, this might be
I'm done. You could go to the feds, but 9 times out of 10, people ain't winning in the feds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have a clear cut situation, like, written on the wall for you to overturn it. So I knew in my heart that this was my only chance. I'm like, if I don't get this shit, I'm done. It's funny because I didn't actually attend the hearing, but they give you the CD. So I'm playing it every day, just trying to give me hope. Like, I need this shit. I need this shit. Having friends going there that's legal beagles, like, yo, how do you feel? And I got positive energy from it, and my family that attended was like, yo, your lawyer did your thing, but you still never know.
What message would you want to convey to like the youth that's out there running the streets? I mean, that could happen to anybody. They could get locked for something. I mean, it's life or death out there. And what message would you want to get across to them about how real that feeling is, waiting on that last appeal, thinking it might never, you might not get another chance?
And that feeling's real, man. It's a feeling that's undescribable. You gotta really step in them shoes, Anybody can say what they will do. How you gonna hold it down? You don't know how real you are until you're in a situation you don't wanna be in.
Yeah.
So don't put yourself in a situation you don't wanna be in to try to feel that feeling, you know what I'm saying? Right. Of course you're gonna have to do it, but it's how you do it, And everybody, I've seen a lot of dudes, including me, I changed. I see a lot of dudes change out of respect in the streets. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. You ain't gonna have the same mind frame 15 years from now.
Right.
We grow, we change, we evolve. Life is characterized by change. So you're not gonna be thinking on street shit that you was thinking at 18, at 30 something. You're gonna value shit differently. Then what you're gonna say, it wasn't even worth it.
Right.
So don't get caught up in that and just don't put yourself in a situation and say it ain't worth it.
Yeah, because I tell people too, never mind 15 years from now, when someone's going through, man, you might not even feel the same way tomorrow that you do today about something. So don't
act off your emotions.
Don't make such a big decision off of something that a month from now you might not even care about. And
it's funny to piggyback off what you said. I was going to just say that, like, if it ain't gonna matter tomorrow, why act on it?
Right. And lose the rest of your life, and so a lot of people don't get it. Like, it's not just us that we affect, right? You get a natural life sentence. I mean, your family is devastated. So talk about that, like having to put you know, your family through that, man. Having to call your mom or something and let her know, like, this is what I'm facing, or this is how real it is, or whatever the case
I
may be.
realized that shit like about 7 years later, right? I remember my mother was good with the 3 ways, could do this and that. She'd come up every week. Shit started slowing down. She can't do the 3. I'm like, damn, Mom, you can't do this. She like, call this, do this. She didn't know how to do it because she was getting old. I told you I didn't go back to court till like 7 to 8 years later when I seen her. Like, damn, my mother's getting old on me.
Yeah.
Like, she's affected by my situation. She was there day to day. And then the dudes that you running with, ain't nobody there. They living their life.
Yeah.
But she's affected by your day to day life, you know? My son was affected by my day to day life. He didn't know me. I had my son when I was locked up, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it was like I had to know him through the jails. And as a result of that, today my relationship is kind of estranged with him because the absence that I had and the things that was told to him. So I'm trying to rewrite his mind on the thinking of me.
Yeah.
But that was all the effects of me being away.
Yeah. And did you ever start to feel bad about yourself for not being there for your son?
Yeah, I feel guilty. I go through it now, you know?
Yeah.
The shit's hard on me, you know? I go through it because this shit's it's hurtful. Who don't know? It's our relationship is not what I envisioned. Like, he don't know the thoughts I used to have day to day. He don't know when I used to be like, damn, if I get out in 2 years, he'll be 3. If I get out in 5 years, he'll be 8. If I get out, like, really counting down, it's like, damn, I don't want to say I get out, he's 20, or I don't get out.
Yeah.
Or even worse, he's in here with me doing time, because I didn't see that. Father and son doing time. So it was like I wanted to prevent that and show him something different. And it's like, it's a little hard, but, you know, constant drip drills a hole. I ain't giving up.
It's never too late to, you know, to do great and for things to be mended. And like you said, how somebody feels today might not be how they feel 5 years from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was your support system like, the court? Was it just your mom and your wife?
Yeah, my wife, she ended up leaving, you know, as a result of me having life. You can't expect a little young lady at 18, don't know nothing about life, to stay there for the rest of her life. I'm glad she did leave, because she came back with knowledge, came back even greater, you know what I'm saying? So we went our own ways, but who really supported me was kind of myself, dealing with females, and, you know, found the way of the land.
So I get
Survival
you.
mode.
You gotta do what you gotta do in there. We all know everybody got that, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta do something. Everybody need a little bit of love goes a long way.
But that's what it be though. Like,
a
we
little bit of
chase
love goes a
love,
long.
even if it's fake. Just tell me you love me, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, not even like,
Like,
it don't even gotta be love. I just mean a love like a letter, and coming underneath the door, like that shit.
Yeah. You
Brighten
jump
up your
off
whole
that
week.
bed for that letter.
So you finally, how do you hear back that you have the opportunity for a retrial or to overturn your case? Is that like through the mail? Or you got a lawyer visit?
That was another crazy one. I happened to call the streets. And somebody's like, "Oh, you didn't hear?" I said, "Hear what?" You know, I'm thinking somebody died. He's like, "Oh, you flipped your case." I said, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, I seen it on Universal Hub." I clicked, called my mother. I said, "Yo, Mom, is it true?" She said, "Baby, it's true." Yo, right there, instantly, I felt like 1,000 pounds just was lifted off me.
Wow.
It was relief, like, oh my God.
Like you hit the lottery.
Like,
So how long in between? What's that process like? I mean,
I was there for like 90 days because they was I was actually trying to stay upstate and fight my case while I was upstate. So I went for a hearing. They denied it, whatever the case may be. They said you have to go back to county because you're not state property no more.
Okay.
And I ended up going back.
Was that after the whole 52A status thing?
Yeah, because I was trying to go under that,
Yeah.
52A, but they don't even do 52A no more.
No.
So they said I had to go back to Nassau Street. So I flipped my case June 19th, and I ended up going to Nassau Street like September.
So now talk about Now you got all this time in, like you said, respect is a big thing. Upstate, people move a little differently. Now you go back to Nash, which is kind of like a wild house. I mean, what's your mindset having to deal with that side of it, or are you just more focused on like?
I focus on myself. I was just like, I'm just passing by. I ain't trying to try to point them in the right direction. I'm like, it's not my place right now. But you know, every now and then I seen somebody with great potential, and I always sat them down and let them know what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And they respected that, you know.
Why was that important to you?
Because
to help the next person.
I seen myself in them, and I seen the direction they was going, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. Not saying I respect what you're doing, but I understand what you're doing. But if I can tell you to go another way, you know, I wish somebody would told me, I'm gonna tell you that, because I know that's what's real, and it's genuine. It's coming from a sincere place. If I was to tell you anything different, I'm faking the funk with you. I'm trying to relate to you. I don't want to relate to you, you know. So every now and again, you know, some dudes came and I let them know what it is, you know, and what to expect from from what they doing in the streets. But I was just passing by. I wasn't really engaged in none of that.
I know Shirley Max, I hear, doesn't have too much for programming, but were you able to start doing some sort of programs while you were in? I know lifers kind of get pushed to the...
Yeah, they put you on the shelf, man. They don't care, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to really get programmed, you know? I got a couple of little programs in, but I really ain't had too much programs in. Because they put you on the back burner. They like, man, you ain't the main problem. You ain't coming home.
Right. Do you think there should be more programs for lifers, and why?
Yeah, I feel like it should be more programs for the life. First of all, the whole dynamics of people flipping their cases is different. People's going home now, you know what I'm saying? The laws is changing. So due to the laws being changed, I think they should be able to have some programs so people can transition out here with something to look forward to.
Absolutely. That makes sense.
Educating people in the world. Some people is scared of technology. I remember they changed the little iPods to the MP3s. Dudes that had 30 years in, when you want to take it, like I can't get. It's good to keep people informed and abreast of what's going on in the mainstreams of the world.
Yeah, but you got to have an open mind too. You can't be that OG that just, I'm used to this because I don't know how is not an excuse for not learning. That's why I always say, like my mom, when she's talking about I don't know how to email. Well, I mean, you know how to text. It's similar. Just keep trying. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So how does it work now? You touched on it a little bit. You got a new trial coming up, and then you end up what? Getting a plea bargain?
I got a
time served type of deal?
I got a plea bargain.
Okay.
15 a day.
Was that the first one they offered you?
Nah, they offered me 15 to 18. I told them I wasn't taking it.
15 to 18. And now at any point, just to bring it back a little too, that time when you were originally waiting trial, did they offer you anything?
Yeah, they offered me 15.
15 straight up? Or
Yeah, 15 straight up.
Okay.
And I didn't take it.
Okay. So this time?
I'm taking this.
Okay.
And then I had majority of the time in.
You said you had what, 18 months left?
Yeah. I had like 18 months left. I took that. I just didn't want to do the 15 to 18. I didn't want to come home with no parole, nothing. I just wanted to be done with this.
So 15, not even on any
But matter of fact,
probation?
I'm lying. They gave me probation.
Okay.
They was like, we're not giving you that. We want something. It's different though.
Than parole, yeah.
Yeah, it's different. So I took the 2 years. I finally completed that.
Okay.
Yeah, never had no setbacks with it.
So you get back upstate now. What's that journey like? Is it you got to go through classification again?
Yeah, but I really didn't have to get class because I was still under the same W number.
Okay.
So, but I still had to go to Walpole. But I was only there for like 30 days.
You get to hit a minimum at some point?
I couldn't even hit it. I went back to the max.
Okay, because
of my points. My points was high. I went back to the max. But what I liked about it, I'm kind of glad I did, because they had a re-entry program there. So when you had 18 months left, you go to re-entry. So I went up there, went straight to the re-entry, started doing my little programs, had gotten a little good time.
Those points, your points were high. Was it because you were getting, did you get any whole time while you were down?
Time, yeah.
And how long does that stay on your...
Infractions, different infractions up there. Stay on there for 18 months.
Okay.
Stay on there for 18 months, but I caught a few tickets before I went to NAS for my appeal process, and I was still under the same W number.
Okay.
So
And you caught these tickets in Nash or before you went to
no,
Nash?
before I went to Nash.
Okay.
When I was in Gardner, I flipped my case in Gardner,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a couple tickets on my jacket.
Okay.
So when I left to go to Nash to fight my case, and I came back up under the same W number, docket number,
Mm-hmm.
them tickets still hold.
Gotcha. So what kind of tickets were these? Like,
Getting caught with some boxings,
mm-hmm.
fighting tickets, couple bullshit tickets. But if you get a couple, you get like 3 or 4 tickets, and within that year, I think you get like 7 points if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. And it takes, you gotta have 12 points to go to a medium.
Yep.
Then you gotta have 5 points to go to a minimum.
Okay.
So I was over the points to go to the medium,
threshold.
the threshold.
So 18, you did the rest of that time, and you got out from Shirley Max, from the Max?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wrapped my whole time, my bid up.
Talk about now that you've been in for so long, those last few months or so, man. Like, what's going through your mind? Are you starting to formulate the plan? I know you said you got into the you started thinking about stocks while you were locked up. So,
I was formulating the plan a few years prior to me getting locked up. I mean, going home, you know, saving money up, educating myself, establishing my credit. Came home with good credit, came home with a couple dollars, came home with a good wife that had good credit, couple dollars, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we just came together and just made it work, you know what I'm saying?
why is it important to have a plan? Because they say, you know, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So,
Shit, you said it for me. I was just about to say that. It just, when you have a plan, you don't go with somebody else's plan, because a whole bunch of plans is going to be thrown at you when you get out there, you know what I'm saying?
get sidetracked.
Yeah, get
easy.
sidetracked easy. So if you ain't really got nothing to anchor you and be your compass, you're going to fall for anything, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't stand for nothing. So it's good to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, somebody's plan become your plan. And that might not be the direction you need to go in.
Gotcha. What were some of the obstacles you faced when you first got out? I mean, some people say getting the ID may be hard, especially if you've been down for a certain amount of time. I know someone, I think they did 30 years. They said it took almost 9 months just to get an ID because they ain't been anywhere. What were some of your obstacles?
See, I walked out with an ID.
Nice. Was that part of
The
re-entry
reentry,
thing?
yeah. See, that's why I wanted to go to reentry, because they get you right. So they get me with a couple of resources. I didn't really mess with their resources because it was like outdated resources, you know. They wasn't really helping you or nothing like that. But I got out. I got with mental health because I needed somebody to talk to, you know. I wanted to get a good feel. So that was one of the obstacles. Is life is different. People is different. How you interact is different. So that was like one of the obstacles. But as far as licensing on, I had my license in 45 days of me being home. I had my license because I know you need a car to get to work and all that.
Right.
Work was a struggle, you know, having cases and all that, but it was this dude that gave me a chance, and I was doing carpentry work with him. So I had a job, stacked up a couple dollars, then I started to day trade, and I just took off.
Okay.
You know, my wife was there. She didn't put a lot of pressures on me. She gave me time to get right.
You mentioned mental health. Like, just talk about that. Why is that important, especially after doing, you know, so much time? A lot of people don't realize how much it affects the mental health. So just get into that a little bit.
First of all, if you did anything over 5 years, you're gonna have an adverse effect. It's gonna have an adverse effect on you when you do time. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's coming out normal. Nobody. I don't care how much you think you're normal. You're not normal. You was locked up like a dog for many years. So just that within itself, you need to be talking to somebody. And a lot of times, we don't talk to somebody locked up because it's taboo. You talk to the doctor, certain niggas is clowning them. I'm like, damn, he's seeking help. That's courage. But if you really go to the doctors, niggas look at you as weak. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of unresolved issues, traumas that people face even before going in, and you never got treated for it because you would have been labeled as soft, you know? So then you go out here and have another struggle as life changes on you, and you got to interact with the new world. That's stress.
Yeah.
And then if you ain't got nobody and got no real resources, that's another conflicted stress on you. So talking to somebody and letting somebody guide you, that shit's big.
Did you ever have to deal with any depression at any point, maybe inside or outside? And like, what are some of the ways to deal with it? I always, like, for me, like, working out is probably, one of the biggest things for my mental health, how I deal with it. You know what I mean?
It's funny, that's how I dealt with it, and it's mental health. I mean, working out was very big, But for depression, yes, I dealt with it. For with my son, my family, not having the best relationships with them, So that shit was hard on me. Like, damn, I'm home now. Everything I expected went the opposite way, So that shit was hard,
Yeah.
And it was like, I kind of felt like, damn, why? Because I'm not the same me. I'm doing something better. And I think people frown upon that
Yeah.
greatness.
Absolutely. What do you think might happen to someone who gets out and maybe they don't address that mental health side of things?
They can revert back to the same shit that they was doing, the same norms, dealing with the same people, going to the same places, doing the same things, because you're going to get discouraged and you're going to automatically go back to what you know. So I feel like if you're going through something, it's good to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
That's very important. Get that shit out.
And like you say too, the taboo thing, especially for men with mental health. And so I just think it is important to address and bring up on platforms like this. And I think we could try to change that taboo. You think that's fair to say? That we could change that by
absolutely.
talking about it?
Absolutely, we can change that, I feel like when more than one people come together and congregate for a greater cause, we can inspire people and give people hope to follow behind, and that's what I'm doing. Not on the mental health thing, but the financial literacy thing. I got I'm doing classes. I'm teaching people financial literacy because we all know if you come from the inner city, the parent of crime is poverty, the lack of. Why do we think we go out here and sell drugs? Because one is easy, but what you need money to sustain yourself. Some people don't have it at the household. They getting money to feed their household at a very young age because the mother's probably taking the money and buying crack with it. You know what I'm saying? So what do? You go with what you know, because that's what you see. But I know this is a quick way to get money. So it's like, I understand that, so I want to teach you financial literacy. I want to teach the youth,
At what point do you start doing that?
I'm currently doing that now. I got a Patreon going on,
So talk about that.
Well, you can find me on IG. You can find me on Meech, MEECH000619. You can find me on there. My Patreon's on there.
Okay.
$15 subscription, And the reason why I put the $15 is nothing, but I feel like if you pay something, you pay attention. So you want to have something. You gotta have something invested. Show me that you want me to help you. Absolutely. Show me that my time is valuable. But I teach people how to day trade, but I also teach people long-term investment for your portfolio. Because what I do, I day trade, but what I also do, I take that money, allocate that in long term, because I know long term is where the wealth's at. Short term is just the cash flow. So I use this cash flow to turn it into wealth. So this is what I want to educate people on and inform them on better financial decisions.
The probation part of it, how did that go for you? Are you still on probation? Did you have any struggles with that?
No.
Okay.
And that was a success because anytime I was on probation, I always got violated.
Yeah.
Never got violated.
Why do you think that is? Because last time I had caught a case, I think I was about 35, and I was like, you know what, I'll take the probation, because I felt, for me, I was like, man, at this point, if I can't complete the probation, then I probably don't deserve to be out here. How were you looking at probation at that time? Just a necessary evil?
Nah.
Was it structure?
It was structure. It gave me structure, and then like the things that they violate you on, I don't do.
Right. Catching cases.
Catching cases. I ain't catching cases. I didn't have no curfew. I had simple instructions: stay away from the victim's family, don't catch no case, and report. I can report. I ain't catching no cases, and I'm gonna stay away from the victim's family. So it was easy breezy for me.
Got you. At what point did you make the move to Atlanta? And talk about why.
A year ago.
A year ago.
A year ago. I've been out 2 years now. I made that change. Matter of fact, they moved my probation to Atlanta.
Okay, so you were still on probation.
I'm
and
still
got
on
transferred.
Yeah, they transferred to Atlanta, so I had to wait a little bit, and they ended up transferring to Atlanta. But the reason why I made that change because it's too much negativities out here. You know, my life is all negative out here. I have everything bad out here. You know,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's really nothing to aspire to up here. It ain't really nothing going on. You know. So I wanted to be around the Black Mecca, people that got shit going on, people that's younger than me, that's making it happen, network, and just really rub shoulders with the right people.
Gotcha.
But also just uproot myself and just the things I used to think about here, I don't normally have to think about. I don't have to think about out there. Not saying things don't happen out there,
Right.
but I can start fresh.
Got you. And before you had moved out there, is that somewhere you used to go frequently, or
Nah,
that was your first time out there?
I went out there a few times and, checked it out before I moved out there,
Got you.
I definitely checked it out and I just got the feel and I'm like, this is for me. I asked my wife, how you feel? She took that leap of faith with me. We out.
What would you say is the biggest difference between Atlanta and Boston?
It's more hustle and bustle out there.
The Mecca?
Yeah, the Mecca. It's more hustle and bustle out there.
I mean, it's way big. It's a bigger city.
It's a bigger city,
obviously,
yeah.
too.
It's just more people want to do something.
And more people working together out there with the networking.
Yeah.
As opposed to out
You got to be in the right rooms, you know what I'm saying? But it's hate there too.
Yeah.
It's hate everywhere, you know what I'm saying? Just how people are, But if you get in the right rooms, you rub the right shoulders, it's definitely you definitely can network. It's opportunity out there.
If you would had to attribute your freedom to one main reason, what would you say that is? The biggest reason of you staying free and not recidivating so far?
My family.
Family.
And the knowledge of self and the knowledge of the world. Like, I know crime don't pay. I know it's a lose-lose situation. So really me, because that's not the life I want to live. Then my family, I see my precious little daughter smile at me every morning. Just interacting with my family. That's something to look forward to.
That's beautiful. Talk about education-wise. Did you end up graduating high school before you got locked up? Did you get a GED while you were away?
I got a GED when I was locked up.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a GED when I was locked up. I didn't graduate. I went up to 10th grade.
Okay.
Went up to 10th grade.
So how'd you feel after you got that GED? Was that a confidence booster? Did that make you actually want to start reading, wanting to read more, educate yourself more?
Yeah, it was a confidence booster, I failed the first time, I ended up getting it the second time. But it was a confidence booster. I was happy that I got it because I'm like, damn, God give me a chance.
Right.
At least I have something under my belt. And like I have. I can submit something, Absolutely. So just with that in itself, I was happy. And I just started reading, educating myself, and just changing my mind frame on life.
Sometimes you learn more from those losses, right? Or those failures, quote unquote failures, than you do anything else. So what advice would you give to somebody that just came home today?
Hopefully they came home with a plan. Let them know life is not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be worth it. And things that come easy, it's something on the other side that you don't know about.
Gotcha.
So, buckle down. Know that it's not going to be easy, but it'll pay out for you in the long run.
Because, a lot of, between music, movies, everything that, they like to glamorize lifestyles and going to prison and all that. So I usually like to ask, what's the worst part about prison?
Being around a bunch of suckers. When I say that, it's just gossip. Niggas is gossip. Niggas be worse than them broads in the beauty salon. You know what I'm saying? And just waking up to that shit every day, that shit get tiring.
Yeah.
You be like, damn, I can't wait to get up out of here. I'm sure you got a brother that do it. I know you hear about it. He tell you how people is, and it's just gossip. Niggas just hate on each other. It's just misery.
Gotcha. So talk about some of your accomplishments since you've been out, or your proudest moment. Is it the home ownership? Okay.
And marriage.
Home ownership and marriage. Why was it important to you to have ownership? Did you grow up in a house that you owned, or?
Nah, okay. I lived in the hood. So no, really nobody that I know in my family had ownership. You know, my grandmother, and she lost that house. You know, but that was like big. It was her house was the family house. That was the headquarters. And once we lost that, you you lost. We felt like we lost everything. You know what I'm saying? Because that was something to look up to. That was something to go to feel like it was yours.
Right.
When you went in there,
Home
you felt
base.
like it was home base. So we lost that years ago. But to just obtain ownership and something that I spoke on when I was locked up, I educated myself on, and to actually do that, it was a big accomplishment.
Is that something important too that you want to maybe pass down to the next generation, to your
Yeah.
kids and stuff, and like you said, you want to break that cycle. So I feel like
yeah.
that's a big part of it.
Trying to pass down more than one house, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm working on
Did
something
you
right now.
Run into any obstacles along the way as far as home ownership that you may not have knew about, or
Nah, it
kinda
actually went
smooth?
it went good. It went better than expected, to be honest with you. I was not, me, just networking resources. I was reading these books they call Bigger Pockets. Well, the production is Bigger Pockets, but they got a whole series of books on just on real estate. But what they also have, they got a formal online internet. So I was reaching out to certain people and telling them, do they know any real estate agents in this area, et cetera, et cetera. And he happened to hit me back. And the dude was just a genuine, hungry dude,
Wow.
And he was just very helpful, very prompt on what we wanted, really understood what we wanted. And he just made the process so easy for us.
You have any advice for somebody looking to maybe get into owning a home or owning any sort of property?
Get your credit right.
Credit.
Get your credit right, People don't got to be in the high 700s, how they say. 680 will do,
Okay,
Get
so
your-
just break that down for me. If I wanted to build my credit up, what's the best way to go about it? in your
Get
opinion?
if you ain't got no credit, that's better than bad credit. But how I would start, get yourself a secure credit card, Get yourself a secure credit card, even if it's $200, Pay that off within 3 to 6 months. Reapply. Well, you'll start getting credit card offers, or you can approve for this and that. Like a Capital One, get a $500 one. Get these. They got a lot of self-building credit agencies.
Nice.
One is Self. One is Cap Off, and I think Credit Karma got one.
Okay.
So you can do this, and they put it as like involving credit, so that could be on your credit card, and they help you build your credit up. You can do that, and so within 6 months to 8 months, you will be in the high six.
Okay.
You'll be in the high six. Stack your bread up, Go to programs, these FAC programs, You can qualify for those, and you only got to put 3.5% down.
Gotcha.
Just make it work like that.
Okay, what about day trading? What advice would you give to a beginner that wants to get into that? I mean, is it high risk, low reward? Do you got your eggs in multiple baskets?
It's the misconception always gambling is risky. This is not. It's not gambling. It's not gambling because you're educating yourself on it. Is it risk involved? It's risk involved, but it's risk in everything in life.
Yeah.
You go outside, you ain't gonna make. It ain't promised you gonna make it back home.
That's a fact.
That's a risk, but you're gonna go out and get your money. You're gonna go out and take care of your responsibilities. But what I say is, I do options. So with options trading, it's trading a stock, but you don't have full ownership of it.
Okay.
And why do I like options? Because you can put less capital with higher returns.
Okay.
So I do that, but I trade about 4 to 5 stocks that I know, because stocks, they have personalities. So when you understand, like your girl, you understand her personality, so you know what to do, you know how to maneuver. So I'll trade like 4 or 5 stocks, less is more, and just get my money off that day to day.
And that's something you wake up, crack the laptop
Crack
right in
the
the
laptop,
morning and
yeah.
get right into it. It's
Yeah,
a daily thing.
That's a daily
grind?
thing. Yep. That's my ritual. I wake up in the morning, look at the news. Well, not even say news. I look at the movement, pre-market session, what it did it go gap up, did it gap down. Then I'll just open the charts. I already got it charted up because I've been trading them stocks.
And you've been studying before you even came out? Were you reading like Wall Street Journal or anything? Or
Nah, I
how
was
did
reading
you go about that?
I was reading Wall Street, but I was reading US Today. I was reading the Barron's
Gotcha.
because some people was actually doing that while they was locked up, so they had a paper. So I get on the line, get the paper, educate myself, call home, get a whole bunch of books. So I'll have working knowledge on it. I just didn't have the experience, which experience is the best teacher, you know?
Absolutely.
So I had to get on that screen, lose a couple dollars, but I figured that shit out because in my mind I said, I'm gonna get this shit by all means necessary. This is gonna get me out.
So talk about what you have for goals moving forward. Short-term goals, long-term goals, anything. What are you hoping to accomplish moving
Well, I
forward?
currently got a business endeavor going on right now with a trucking company. So that's what I want to do. Like not actually drive the trucks, put somebody in the truck,
Okay.
do some Amazon relay and have somebody, you know, moving the trucks and get money off there, still day trade.
You got a timeline on when you would like to actualize that, or is that something that you already
That's something
started?
I'm actually actualizing right now.
Okay.
I'm currently doing.
Okay. So just talk about what made you think of that?
Because it's funny, I wanted to always do trucks when I was locked up too. But I lost passion with the semi trucks. I wanted to go on the road. I had this idea, but we all know we have our ideas, but some ideas is gonna fall by the waistline because you're gonna be replaced with new ideas once you get a real feel of the world. So me having a family and me being away from the world, I said, nah, I can't do that. I felt like I'm locked up again.
Right.
But when in the last year or so, I've been hearing about box trucks. You don't need no CDL. You don't need to do all that. You can just have a license, be able to get a 26-footer, this and that. I'm like, okay, let me think about that again, you know? So that's where that thought came in.
Gotcha.
And I just want to just have my money in all different things.
That makes tons of sense. So why was it important for you to come up here and tell your story today? Why did you want to tell your story?
Because I feel like my story can inspire, give people hope. And that was one of the main reasons why I want to give inspiration to people. You know, I know a lot of people gonna watch this and they know me, but to see who I am now is it's a complete difference. And then you can do that too. You can be that too. I'm not different than nobody. The only difference is the information, and the information can transform your life. It can be transformation if you apply that.
Wow.
So I just wanted to just.
Where does
get
that
my story.
transformation start? Is it with just getting the information? Is it the mindset first? Where does it all begin?
It's the mindset. It's understanding you can do it first. 'Cause you can get the information, but if you self-doubt in yourself and you feel like you can't do it, then the information is just going to be information. It's potential information.
So do you think a lot of times in the streets, a lot of people are kind of lied to, misguided, and kind of shown this is the only way?
Absolutely.
And do you think it's important to come up here and tell people that it's not, and for you to show the example? I think it's super important.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to exemplify that and show them that you ain't got to feel like the only way you're going to make it is be a rapper. Everybody's rapping now, you know what I'm saying? But I said, all you people sounding the same. How you really, like, you ain't got to sell drugs. You ain't got to feel like you got to play ball or throw a football.
Yep.
No, it's other things you could do to
Sometimes
get real
it's
money.
unique, just doing
being-
something different someone's not doing.
Yeah.
Whether even doing this or reinventing myself at an older, I'm almost 40, and you would ask me 10 years ago, I probably don't even know what a podcast is, but it's about having an open mind. I mean, would you agree with that? If
Absolutely.
That's important? And why would you think having an open mind is important?
Because you only know what you know. So if you only know what you know, you're only going to do what you were exposed to. So it's about being uncomfortable and opening the doors for other things. If you can't be uncomfortable and open yourself up to other things, then you're only going to be stuck on what you know. And that's stagnation to me.
Yeah.
That's being stagnant.
Yeah. And what happens to water when it's
When it's
stagnant?
stagnant.
It gets moldy, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming up. If there was anything else that you wanted to touch on that we didn't get a chance to, or just some closing words, I mean, the floor is yours to kind of do that.
First and foremost, I appreciate you for having me here and giving me the opportunity to tell my story.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you open this space up for people to be able to tell their story that come from where I come from, because we don't have that. So you know you got something unique. And I just wanted to just tell everybody that's viewing this, you know, that I've been through trials and tribulations of life. Hold on, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where you at. It's matter where you going, you know what I'm saying? So just if every day could be in a positive direction, then that's something that you should be glad about. That's something you should be proud about. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but as long as you head in the right direction.
Yeah. Nothing worth having is really ever easy. That's why we end up in jail and prison and stuff like that, trying to go the easy route. But one last time, maybe for the guys still left behind, for the people still in prison, what would you like to say to them? Or even if you had any shout outs or anything like that for people locked up, man?
You know, first, like I told you, I got a brother that's doing a second right now. Free T Gutter, man. I do it for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that my brother come home situated, that he's in a good situation. He ain't got to want for anything. Right. So I do it for him. Free Jeff Blas, you know what I'm saying? A legend. He's under the juvenile. I remember he thought he was never coming home. You know what I'm saying? So anybody that's going through this situation, never give up, because anything is possible.
Absolutely, anything is
possible. Even in impossible, say impossible.
Right.
So anything is possible. Don't never think, oh, it's impossible. So that's it, man.
Even if they tell you natural life, man, you're here to, you know.
I'm here to tell you, man.
I'm B. Luke. One more time, tell the people who you are, where they can find you.
Find me at Meet0619, man. Like I said, I'm teaching people financial literacy. I'm gonna show you how to get the bag the right way. You ain't gotta feel like you gotta go in the streets and get it. I'm gonna show you how to get it up and allocate it in something positive. That's worthwhile.
That's what it's about, and staying out of prison and doing it the right way. So guys, remember, it is what it is. What's next is what you make it. On that note, the Bounce Back Podcast. If you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure you go check out my man.
You got a moment when they see you